everyone. Welcome back to 30 Days of Yin Yoga. Today's theme will be centered around setting boundaries. Go ahead and grab 2 blocks and a bolster for practice today. We're going to begin in reclined supported butterfly. So come to lay on your back, then bring your feet towards your hips, point your knees up to the sky, and lift your hips up off of the ground and gently place a bolster or the block, I do recommend the block, underneath your sacrum at the lowest height for now. Find the little tilt of your pelvis so there's no tension in your lower back. Bring your feet to touch and let your knees open out to the side. We've arrived in our first pose of practice today, reclined supported butterfly. As this pose invites us to be open, one of the most effective ways for us to begin setting boundaries is to offer direct, open, and honest feedback about your limits. We can learn a lot about ourselves through yoga, especially when it comes to boundaries. In yoga, you can begin to explore setting boundaries by observing and respecting the differences between what your mind wants and what your body needs. When we explore and learn to set boundaries with ourselves, we can begin to learn and feel empowered in setting boundaries with others. So take that and sit with it for the next few minutes to begin to open up and think about the boundaries we have with ourselves and others, and maybe what we want those to look like. Bring your hands to the outside of your thighs and just close your legs in like a little book. Lift your hips and set your block off to the side and gently roll over. We're going to come to kneel and we're going to find toe squat, that nice fiery yin pose. Bring your knees and feet together and tuck your toes behind you and come to sit back on your heels. Find a nice tall spine here. If you've been following along with the journey of the 30 days, we've done toe squat before. We know it gets a little fiery. So, as with the theme of today, acknowledge your boundaries, acknowledge the difference between your edge and the difference between pain and pushing through just to be in the pose when it's not causing you when it's not providing you anything positive and more so causing you discomfort and pain. Just as some of these poses aren't quote-unquote easy, neither will setting boundaries be at first. But like this practice, you know it is effective and worth it to stay and try. And gently begin to rock your body forward and come to untuck your toes and then just sit back on your heels. Bring your hands behind your head. Lift your knees slightly off the ground. We find a nice ankle stretch here. Bring your knees and thighs together. Allow your chest to melt back, putting nice oppositional pressure on your feet now. Kind of acknowledging that when things are tough, kind of like in toe squat and setting that boundary is tough, you do get to reap the benefits of some ease and comfort. Acknowledge that the forces of yin and yang, the energies of the universe, they want to balance themselves out, and so not one thing ever will last forever, that there's always something else on the other side. And gently rock your body forward. Stay on your knees. Bring your knees underneath your hips. Come to a tabletop. Then begin to walk your hands out in front of you, and we find melting heart pose. Your forehead or your chin rests on your mat, and your arms extend long out in front of you. Continuing into that theme of openness, allowing yourself to be open, learning how to be open, so you can be that to others, so you can not hide yourself or make yourself small for the comfort of others, and allow yourself to take up space and set the boundaries that you need to make you comfortable. Gently begin to press into your forearms and palms and make your way back up. Go ahead and recruit your blocks here. We're going to find dragon and swan. Bring your blocks to the top of your mat, a little bit towards the left, and go ahead and step your right foot outside of your blocks and bring your left leg long back behind you. You can find the depth of the pose here, either on your hands or maybe on your forearms, and just begin to sink into this pose here. Reconnect to your breath, reconnect to your center. Maybe there was an intention that came to mind at the beginning of class, or a boundary that you want to focus on for yourself. We start to continue to work with that as we find stillness in this pose. If you are on your forearms, just gently press your way up to your palms. You can place your blocks off to the side. We're just gonna swivel our foot, just tiptoe our foot over to the left side of our mat. We're gonna come and find swan. To make sure both hips are close to the earth. If your right hip is a little lifted, just bring a block underneath it. And maybe stay up, but if there's space, I invite you to take this into sleeping swan and surrender. Maybe using a block for your forehead, maybe making your hands into little pillows, or bringing your forehead to the earth. Finding wherever you can comfortably arrive for the next 2 minutes of practice. Gently begin to press your way back up. We're going to come to switch sides. We'll do dragon on the other side first. Send your right leg back behind you slowly. And come to step your left foot towards the top of your mat. And bring your blocks back in. We stay on our hands. We take it down to the forearms, acknowledging any differences between the sides of your body and just seeing how you can show up for yourself in this moment. A way that we can begin to set boundaries is by starting small and focus on one thing at a time, kind of like what you have to do during your yin practice. When you find stillness in these poses, there's nothing else for you to do other than sit and stay and focus on this one thing. Maybe you take a similar approach as you begin to explore setting boundaries. And gently press your way back up onto your palms and just scoot your blocks over to the side as we make our way into swan. So just scoot your foot over to the right side of your mat. Extend your right leg long back behind you. Find squareness in your hips. And after you find some length on an inhale, and slowly begin to melt forward and arriving where your body needs you to on this side. Slowly into press your way up with your hands. Bring your right leg in front of you and gently come to lay on your back. And we're going to find snail pose. So bring your arms down by your side and lift your legs up to the sky, and then send your hips up and back and bring your toes back behind you. Maybe they hover above the floor. Maybe they reach the earth, acknowledging your boundaries that you have with your body, not pushing yourself to a place of pain, and rather meeting yourself at that edge of discomfort where you can begin to explore something new. Be sure to not move your head side to side when we're in this pose. Very easily cause injury, so if you need to see something, just go ahead and release your legs back down, and then you can move your head. While you're here, just stay focused in this center point. If your hands were supporting your hips, just allow them to rest on the earth, and like brakes, press firmly into your hands. You slowly lever your body back down. You send your legs long out in front of you as we find our final pose of practice today, Shavasana. I invite you to bring your hands onto your body and just reconnect to your body in this space, acknowledging anything that maybe came up for you during practice today and how you want to continue to work with those energies off the mat. And this is where I will leave you today. As always, feel free to stay as long as time allows. Thank you for joining me today. The light in me bows to the light in you. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.